Welcome to Sucre, the capital of Bolivia. In this quick video, I'll show you what to expect when visiting this beautiful city. From visiting the city center to go and see the vertical dinosaurs' footprints, we spent a day and a half in Sucre, and my highlight was the cemetery, a UNESCO World Heritage site full of surprises, from murder victims to mausoleums of presidents and fake prince and princesses. This is the view from our little hotel terrace. We paid $16 a night in Sucre, and it is just meters away from the central plaza. And that was probably the best hotel room we had during the full trip, to be honest. A fun detail to spot in Sucre, it is those zebra people. They are paid by the council to stop the cars when crossing, to push them to respect the pedestrian crossing.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo
Yeah.
están?
Or the zebra crossing. They're quite fun, they're being paid by the council. Anyway, this is the university building. That is the administration building of the university. You can go inside to take a look, it's beautiful. There are in Sucre nearly 50,000 students, out of 300 inhabitants in total, so that's a large proportion of the population. Universities are free, but you need to pass a test, I think. Now let's go to the market, where you'll find beautiful fruits and vegetables, of course, and where you can also buy a juice at a juice bar. Now, if you buy a juice, it's much better to stay rather than taking it away, because they give you a second serving on the house. You know, the leftovers in the blinder. They always do, so don't feel awkward asking for it. I think these are the dried potatoes. The Incas had created a system to dry potatoes to preserve them. You'll see hundreds of different species of potatoes there. This is the Convento Santa Teresa, and they have some bones in the pavement here. The convent dates back to 1685. They were Carmelite nuns, known for rough treatment like fasting, wearing no shoes, and self-flagellation. There are a lot of local stories of nuns losing their sanity in there. Because at the time when your family decided you had to go to a convent, that was it. There was no way out. It is said to be haunted. And this beautiful building is Iglesia de San Lázaro. It is the oldest church in the city, dating back to the 16th century. Now, this little neighborhood here with the cobble streets, it's on the way towards La Recoleta viewpoint. You'll notice a lot of the streets are named after cats. White cat, black cat, grey cat, Calle Gato Blanco, Calle Gato Negro, Calle Gato Gris. There are two different theories on why all the streets are named after cats. One is a bit sad. It is that in the 1930s, after a war with Paraguay, a lot of widows lived there after losing their husbands, and that feeling very lonely, they all had a cat or a few cats. This is La Recoleta viewpoint. The other theory about the cats area, it's more fun. Some believe that at the time they used to ferment a lot of chicha, an alcohol produced by fermented corn. Lots of cereals being stored, lots of rats. So the local people might all have taken a lot of cats to chase the rats away. You might wonder where the name Sucre came from. If you are backpacking in Latin America, you might have noticed a few places or airports called Sucre. And if, like me, you speak French, you might think it comes from sugar, sucre. Not at all. It is named after Antonio José de Sucre. He was a close ally of Simon Bolivar. He played a role in freeing some Latino countries from Spanish rules. This is the sunset view from my hotel. But you could also watch it from La Recoleta viewpoint, where we were earlier. By the way, we arrived in Sucre by bus, It is the best way to travel around Bolivia. But you do not need to buy those bus tickets ahead online. You'll actually pay more. It's much better to just turn up at the coach terminal and buy them. Sucre is the official capital of Bolivia. I know a lot of people think it is La Paz, but Sucre is the constitutional capital, although La Paz is the administrative one. The government, as well as the president, are based in La Paz. I'll be doing a video of La Paz soon if you're interested. The city was not always called Sucre. It had different names over the years. Its first name was actually La Plata, silver. Because when the Spanish arrived, they asked the Incas, "Where do you get your silver from?" And the Inca pointed towards this area on a map. Most of the silver actually comes from Potosi, but that's not far. That's where the mines are. Here is Antonio José de Sucre on the monument. And this is the cathedral. This is the spot where you could catch the Dino bus. It is a little touristy bus that takes you straight to Parque Cretarico. We did not take that one. I'm not even sure it was running on that day because it was right after Carnival. We took the normal bus. Line 4. Now, Parque Cretarico, it is an amazing spot where you can see a nearly vertical wall of rock covered in dinosaurs' tracks. 65 to 68 million years old. They were discovered in 1985 during mining. We are on the site of a cement factory. I think this is the Dinobus. Anyway, the miners were after limestone to produce cement. Oolitic limestone, I think it's called. And that's how they discovered the prints. Obviously, millions of years ago, that would have been a flat surface. But thanks to the tectonic forces related to the uplift of the Andes, over the years the ground surface was moved to a nearly vertical position. The Cretario Park cost $3. Sadly, at the time when we visited, they were doing some refurbishment, so we couldn't get very close to the prints. But to be fair, the lady at the till did let us know before we purchased the tickets. The park itself was fun, especially if you're visiting with kids and family. But if you only wanted to see the prints from the distance, you can even spot them from outside of the park. If you are backpacking around Bolivia and you're not too sure whether you're coming to Sucre or not, there is another site in central Bolivia called Toro Toro National Park that I hear is even better for dinosaur prints. Now, let me take you to the cemetery. That was unexpected. That cemetery blew my mind. It is huge and it is beautiful. You have some very impressive mausoleum as well as some funny ones. And some of the poshest mausoleums I've seen anywhere. The most impressive one is probably the one from the Príncipe de la Glorieta, the prince. That's not actually a prince. Francisco Argandoña Rebila and his wife Clotilde were wealthy entrepreneurs. He was in the mining industry and he was a diplomat. But Pope Leo XIII gave them the title of Prince and Princesses due to their charitable work. I'll show you their graves in a moment, but for now, let's go and find the murder victim. Now, you see there are 2 floors, 2 levels of dead. You might think this is not big enough for a body. It is not. This is actually an ossuary. After 8 years, the bodies are moved into a smaller place here. I love the way they have those little sun covers for their deads. Anyway, when I was looking for the grave of the murder victim, I went to a gardener and with my broken Spanish I asked, "Do you know where is the grave of Mamita Adela?" And he said, "Down that way, segundo piso, 2nd floor." This is the grave of Adela. When he said second floor, I thought I misunderstood, that he must mean second level of bodies or something. No, there are actually 2 floors. You can go upstairs. As you can see, Adela's grave has become almost like a shrine. She is now treated like a saint. People bring her cigarettes and alcohol, 96%. Adela's story was a tragic one. She was murdered by her husband in 1996. The body was found dismembered in different spots. Sadly, a horrible case of feminicide, but what is really unusual, it's what happened after her death. She started to be venerated, almost like a saint. Still today, a lot of people bring some gifts to her grave. Rest in peace, Adela Cárdenas Vázquez. Here you can clearly see the different floors. It's great to see how much care people take into the little graves of their loved ones, with flowers, decorations, drinks, cigarettes, whatever their dead loved ones might need. Of course, you also have much bigger family monuments. Now this is interesting as well. They have a COVID area. Let's go and take a look at the COVID sector. It is even bigger. On the COVID sector, they actually have 3 floors, 3 levels. I guess they had to supply with the demand. So many people died in one go. As you look at the plaques, you might see a lot of 2020, 2021. This person probably loved their cigarettes as well. And that one, see the soda on the left inside, that's the local papaya soda. As you can see, the cigarettes have been lit up for them. It is interesting to bring cigarettes to the dead, because I guess some might say it might have contributed to their death. But let's not forget that in Latin America there's a dimension of tobacco that is spiritual. Now let's go and take a look at the posh bit. We actually had entered through the side gates, but via the main entrance you would have been straight away confronted with those huge mausoleums. I don't know if I can think of any cemeteries where I have seen mausoleums as big as those ones. Well, there's one huge one in West Norwood Cemetery in London. But look at this one there. That is the one of a former Bolivian president, Gregorio Pachero Leyes. It looks like a Greek temple. Now that one is the mausoleum to the prince and princesses of La Glorieta. This one also belongs to the same family. La Glorieta, it is their castle. It is about 5 kilometers away from Sucre. I think you can go and visit now. We didn't do that, but that's probably quite a nice thing to visit. This is the inside of their mausoleum. Their titles of prince and princesses, by the way, were honorary. They were personal, not transmitted to their kids. This is the main entrance to the cemetery, with the little chapel. Now let's get out of the cemetery to go and look for some lunch. We walked past the Eva Perón Square, the Argentinian actress. There she is. I don't think she's got any particular connections to the city of Sucre, but she became a powerful symbol of social justice and support for the poor. Now I was looking for a place for lunch where I could get sopa de maní, peanuts soup. It is a local dish you have to try. It's very nice. Peanuts in Latin America are called maní, although in Spain you call them cacahuetes, like the French cacahuètes. Peanuts are actually native to this part of the globe, Bolivia, Paraguay. We did not have them in Europe before the Spanish came to Latin America. Anyway, this is the beautiful Parque Bolívar, where you have a mini Eiffel Tower. At the beginning of the 20th century, the elite over here really admired European capitals. This was actually designed by Gustave Eiffel. It was made in France. It was commissioned by the Instituto Médico de Sucre, and it was installed a couple of years later to celebrate the 100 years since the first independence uprising. It is siesta time for the wild dogs of Sucre. Now, the mini Paris doesn't stop at the Eiffel Tower. You also have a mini Arc de Triomphe. There it is, at the entrance of the park. Now it is time for us to jump on a coach to leave Sucre. Please consider subscribing. Bye!